What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to my second commentary series. And again, we're going to go over politics as usual at the local level, and we're going to touch base on the federal level, the Supreme Court, in regards to Roe v. Wade. Oh my gosh, so lots to cover. What do we talk about? Where do we start? How do I approach this? How should you all approach it? Well, politics is so diverse in many ways. It's very subjective that you can approach it in many ways as you want. There are some ways better than others, and there's some ways that are not so good. The New Mexico Republican primaries. Again, I still stand by my word. If everything goes to plan, it does look like it's going to come down to Mark Ronchetti versus Rebecca Dow. Recently, they've done a debate. They did not let Ethel Maharg in. It is kind of sad. All because she wasn't able to raise $50,000. It looks like KOB 13 didn't take her as a serious candidate, but it does show that she's not going to make it into the top three. Ethel Maharg, she's not going to make it. Greg Zanetti, he just made a TV ad to attack Mark Ronchetti. And basically in that TV ad, he's saying that Greg Zanetti has business experience, he has military experience that involves a little execution as a military man, right? And then that Mark Ronchetti, he's a weatherman. What does he know about government? What does he know about how to run a state? Obviously, I think with Mark Ronchetti, I think back in 2020 in his Senate campaign, I think him being a KRQE weatherman was a huge help to him. It was a huge asset. Okay, back in 2020, I called him the KRQE star, and I still sometimes call him the KRQE star. But it was a help for him back then. But now, I think New Mexico Republicans, especially within the activism community, are saying, no, we want someone that knows how to run a government, knows how to run a small business, have executive or legislative experience. Therefore, we'll choose someone else like Rebecca Dow, Greg Zanetti, Jay Block. They want political experience for those who do not like Mark Ronchetti. But it was interesting, back in 2020, Mark gained a lot of traction within the entire Republican population because he was the guy on KRQE. But I think this time now, it's hurting him because who knows why it's a harm. After 2 years, something that could be a help to you become a harm to you 2 years after. And Mark Ronchetti, he doesn't really do well within the Republican activism group, but he is pretty good with the Republican population within the state because him being known on KRQE. So Greg Zanetti will make that thesis. If Mark Ronchetti chooses to attack back, he's most likely going to say, well, guess what? We've had so many people with political experience, politicians that have done this for a very long time, has gotten nothing done. We need someone who knows what they're saying and knows what he's doing and has a genuine plan. And I think Mark Ronchetti has been very consistent with that, not just in his 2020 Senate campaign, but in his 2022 gubernatorial campaign as well. But do I think this ad is going to be very helpful? No, I don't think Greg Zanetti is going to take the spot of Mark Ronchetti. Again, the only person who's reliable to do that is Rebecca Dow. And I'm going to keep my eye on Rebecca because she has a good consultant. She has a very good team. They both have the money to hire very good professional experts. I'm really hyped on how this is going to turn out. I'm hyped. Because, again, if Mark Ronchetti wins, it's because he kept his case. He was able to keep the entire Republican population in the state to stay loyal to him. But if Rebecca Dow wins, not only she was able to maintain the Republican activists within the community onto her base, but also she was able to invite new Republican voters from the population to vote for her. Or also she could also take some of the population that votes for Mark Ronchetti back in 2020 to her. Because if she can flip enough Mark Ronchetti voters to her that are from the population, not within the activism community, then guess what? Rebecca Dow will be the one facing Michelle Lujan Grisham. It can go a lot of ways. Okay, if Mark Ronchetti is attacking you, then that's a compliment. That shows that you're in his league. You're in his game. And guess what? The only person that Mark Ronchetti is attacking is Rebecca Dow. Obviously, he sees her as a threat. Can Mark Ronchetti beat Michelle Lujan Grisham, or can Rebecca Dow do a better job? Okay, there's obviously pros and cons on both sides, right? Rebecca Dow, she'll probably drone on to the details, but that doesn't mean that it makes her weak, though, because she probably knows what she's talking about. It's just, like there's a nerd, just like, how a nerd can be so geeky with their technology. That's just like how Rebecca Dow is, because she's a state representative. She's going to be super, super, super geeky about what she does in the state roundhouse, what she does as a state legislator, the procedures that many average everyday voters may not understand, because we don't know a quorum. We don't know, see, again, I don't even know much about the vocabulary, and I went to a political camp, and I don't remember much. It could be potential weakness for her to attract last-minute Republican voters, you know? Mark Ronchetti, he speaks fast, but can he leave an emotional attachment? Can he leave an emotional impression on it? And I'll be honest, both of their charisma is not quite there. I mean, Mark Ronchetti's charisma could be better. Rebecca Dow's charisma, she has it, she's outgoing, but she needs to fine-tune it. Oh my gosh, she really has to fine-tune her charisma. I think Rebecca Dow has a lot of room to beat Mark Ronchetti. She's just going to have to tweak a little things because, again, like I said, she can get a little geeky, too nerdy with her legislative experience, and it just makes the average voter not knowing what she's saying. Like, sorry, a quorum, point of order, point of personal... you get it, you know? Now, with the Supreme Court, okay. So, recently, all because a possible Supreme Court intern leaked out a draft saying that the Supreme Court was going to overturn Roe v. Wade. And lots of protests, lots of social media posts, lots of opinions on both ends of the political spectrum are posting their opinions. And Roe v. Wade, pro-choice versus pro-life continues. I need to tell both sides this. You both need to calm down. Gosh dang it. Okay. I'm not saying calm down to disregard the issue because this is a serious issue. What I am saying to calm down is that it was a draft. It was leaked. It's basically a rumor. We don't know if it's actually true that the Supreme Court is actually planning to overturn Roe v. Wade. Okay? We don't know because after all, it could have been a fake draft. It could have been a scam draft. We don't know. I'm going to personally wait and see how this is going to turn out. And I still think there's going to be a lot of social media posts about pro-choicers and pro-lifers posting about their opinions, right? But I don't think anything big is going to happen within the next month. And hey, I'm willing to take responsibility if this statement ages wrong. I think the talk is going to continue. Do I think the person who leaked it out, like an intern, be fired? Yes, because that is confidential. I interned for a congressional office, and if I did something like that, I'd not only get kicked out of my intern, I'd probably may face legal trouble. So the person who leaked that out, that is seriously a big no-no. I believe in transparency and I also believe in privacy, okay? This is clearly a violation of privacy. I don't care if you're a pro-life or pro-choice. This is clearly a violation of privacy. Please do not bring up transparency. This is, no. So again, Supreme Court drafts, they can be thrown out because, again, it's a draft. There's a lot of rough drafts that are thrown every day. I make YouTube videos. A lot of clips, they get thrown out. They're not used. They're not going to be posted on this YouTube channel because, again, they're drafts. Chief Justice Roberts is going to be the guy that will be like, yeah, it's a case that I want to look into it. I'll look into it. Because, again, it's a conservative majority. You don't know. It's a rumor. I think it's kind of like a premature facade like type of deal. Because the draft could have been written from Gorsuch, okay? Justice Gorsuch. And what if Chief Justice Roberts like, nah, I don't want to look into it right now. So, boom, it's done. Roe v. Wade is not going to be overturned anytime soon, right? So it really depends. You really have to wait. You have to wait and see. Don't get too excited for pro-lifers and pro-choicers. Don't get too worried because we still have to investigate who leaked it out because you're not supposed to leak confidential information, Like, if I were to have someone working for my YouTube channel, I wouldn't like it if he posts clips that I may or may not use out to the public without my permission. I'd get really mad if someone did that to me. And there has to be accountability because, honestly, I interned for a congressional office. I did a very good job keeping documents confidential. Sheesh. So that's my rant. I won't get into my opinion if I'm pro-life or pro-choice. I know many of my friends out there knows the answer to that. Rebecca Dow, she has a good handful of Republican activists supporting her. The Republican population, she also has a good amount of that knowing her. Mark Ronchetti, super terrible with Republican activists, but super strong with the entire Republican population. He did pretty bad. He did pretty bad in the pre-conventions. The one back in 2020 and the one this year just didn't do pretty good. He's only on the ballot because he got 7,000 signatures, right? How well will he turn out? It really depends how well his campaign is like. So with Rebecca to beat Mark Ronchetti, she's going to have to get a firmer grip with the Republican activists. But most of the Republican activists have made up their mind. So what is she going to do? She's going to have to go to the Republican population within the state to get their support. A lot of it has to do with convincing Mark Ronchetti supporters to convert from Mark to Rebecca. And that's how she's going to do it. Can she do it? Oh, I'm sure she's going to try. And this is one of the strengths that I like about Rebecca Dow, is that you can text and call her and she'll get back to you right away. With the Mark Ronchetti campaign, it's a lot different. You're going to have to get through a coordinator, a staff, in order to reach to him. In my opinion, as a voter, if I didn't know both of them personally, I would love Rebecca more because her personal cell phone number is on a business card. I can text and call her and then boom, I get my questions answered right away. So this is what I like about Rebecca, is that she's a lot more reachable to voters than Mark Ronchetti. So there's my first pros and cons video in regards to Rebecca Dow versus Mark Ronchetti. If you guys enjoyed the second commentary video, then please give it a like. If you want to continue on hearing what I have to say, then please give it a subscribe, because I will be talking more politics in regards to the federal level, because, you know, not everyone that watched me lives in my state, but again, I still want to post more federal level politics because it's fun. Got to know what's going around us. And for those who don't live in my state, please, still, I invite you all to learn about what's going on with our local politics, because local politics is what changes our society the first. If you want to bring change, you start at the local level. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much again, and take care.